Tashit Delek to all of you. So this time I will give the second session of the teaching on Chogyal Papa's Garland of Jewel. So here now in the teaching it explains about how to take care about the people. So it has the actual meaning about how to take care of the people and benefit of that, and then also the opposite of that, and then the summary of taking care of the people. So first, Chogyal Papa gave advice to the Prince Chibik Demol about how to look after, how to take care, or how to handle his own subjects, his own people. So to look after them, the prince need to know how to regard what is the excellent and what is not. So here, first, Chogyal Papa is saying what are the excellence qualities that can have in the people. So Chogyal Papa said, the elders are excellence among the same race people or fellow people, or the subject fellows. So it means we need to respect the elders. We should respect and regard them as a senior, and also try to make them happy and try to follow their good advices. Generally speaking, the elders have the knowledge and elders have the experience. So they know many things that younger people don't know. So in general, the elder people, the seniors, are the excellent among the same race or among the same level of people. And then Chogyal Papa said, those who speak the truth are the excellence among all the speakers. Actually, many people have many different opinions, many different ideas, and according to their own ideas and opinions, they speak or they talk differently according to their own idea, according to their own wishes. But the excellent speaker is the one who speaks the truth, the one who speaks the reality. That is the excellent among the speakers. So it indirectly shows about the need of abandoning lie is important. So we have to be sincere, we have to be honest, and to become a sincere person and to become an honest person, generally speaking, we need to tell the truth. Those who are not telling the truth are not honest, and those who are not telling the truth are not sincere person. So something that they speak, if they are not speaking the truth, then it means the others will lose the trust on you. They will not believe on you. So when there's no trust, when there's no belief because of your own lie, then there's no harmony, there's no unity. So therefore, in general, speaking the truth, speaking the reality is very important, is the excellent among all the speakers. If we speak or if we tell lie, then that can deceive others' ordinary mind. But we cannot deceive the law of karma. We cannot deceive the Buddha, because Buddha is omniscient. No one can hide any action. And also, the law of karma is always with us. No one is above the law. All the ordinary beings, like myself, are below the law or under the law, not above the law. So telling the truth is very important. So Chögyam Paba is giving advice that the one who speaks the truth is the excellent among all the speakers. And then Chögyam Paba said, actually there are many texts, and some texts can be very genuine and authentic texts, and some can be false text, or text means like a Dharma book or like that. So here, among all the texts, the text that is written with genuine logical reason that can lead us to the right direction, that can lead us on the right path, that can lead us to progress on the path, and that can be the cause of gaining liberation and enlightenment state through our steady contemplation and meditation, then such text is the most excellent text among all the texts, or all the treatises, or like that. So to be authentic, we need to have a genuine reason. So it means we should not believe anything with a blind faith, without any reason. We should believe which is based on logical reason. The Lord Buddha himself said, followers should not accept his teachings just out of blind faith. For example, when a person buys a gold, first the person will examine whether this is a genuine gold or not by burning it, by cutting it, and by rubbing it. So through such examination, then they will know whether this is a genuine gold or not. Similarly, Buddha said to his followers that followers should examine the Buddha's teaching and then accept. So the most excellent text among all the texts is the one that has genuine logical reasons. And then in the English translation, it says, I think those who benefit others, or those who have the altruistic mind, and those who are really helping others are excellence among the ascetics. So anyway, benefiting others, helping others, serving others is very important. That is the cause of happiness for oneself and others. If we just think about oneself alone, then that is the cause of suffering. As the great Bodhisattva Shantideva said, helping others is the cause of one's own happiness, and thinking of oneself alone is the cause of suffering. So, in short, the altruistic mind is the source of happiness, cause of happiness, and the selfish thought is the cause of suffering. So, those who really benefit others, who really help others, are the excellence among all the ascetics. So he emphasized that prince should help others. The prince should serve his own people by helping them, by serving them. And then Chögyam Prabhupada said, the wealth of wisdom is the most excellent wealth, or the wealth of wisdom is the most excellent among all the wealth. The material wealth that we gain, they are not permanent. Actually, all are impermanent, but they are something that can change very easily. In our life alone, we can see some poor person, after several years or so, they suddenly become rich, and sometimes rich person goes bankrupt and becomes poor in a few years or so. And sometimes rich people becomes poor or have to spend their remaining time of the life in the prison without using his or her own wealth or properties, etc. So these things are not reliable. We can say that material wealth is something that can help temporarily, but it won't help in the long term. And sometimes, because one has the wealth, one is attacked by robbers. Not only attacked, but sometimes one is killed by the robbers or by the bad persons, because one has the wealth. So the wealth can be the cause of losing one's own life. So material wealth is not so reliable, and they are not always helping us. Sometimes because of the material wealth, we get more worried, we get more court cases, and as I said before, one can lose the life also. So, and also it can be the cause of many arguments and many disputes, etc. So the material wealth are not always the cause of happiness, not always the source of happiness. Even if it is the cause of happiness, it is only for temporary period of time or short period of time. But if one has the wealth of wisdom, if one has the knowledge, then such wealth cannot be stolen by a thief. One's own knowledge will follow us wherever we go, even one is attacked by others or one is beaten by others, but still one cannot lose one's own wealth of wisdom. One cannot lose one's own wealth of knowledge. So knowledge is something that can remain with us. So if we use this knowledge in a better way with the right intention, then this knowledge will help us not only in this life, but also in the future lifetimes. And also it can help others to gain happiness. So the most excellent wealth among all the wealth is to have the wealth of wisdom, the wealth of knowledge. And the one who are wise, who are educated, are the most excellent among all the decent people or good people. So among all the good people, the one who has the good quality, one who has the knowledge, one who are wise, one who has the wisdom, real wisdom, then they are the excellent among all the decent people or among all the good people. So if one has knowledge and also if one has good attitude. So if a decent people has the good qualities or the wealth of wisdom, then it's like icing on the cake. So it's excellent among all the decent people, and such person is a person to whom one can respect, or such person is respected by others, such person will be valued by others. So it's good to have positive action and good behavior. It is important to be a good person, a decent person, but on top of that, if one has the knowledge, if one has the wisdom, if one is wise, then that is excellent among all the decent people. Then Chaitanya Baba said, those who are destitute are the most excellent among all the inferior people, all the ordinary people. So those who don't have shelter, those who don't have food to eat, good or pure water to drink, etc. So if we help them, then that is more beneficial than helping a middle class person or giving food to a middle class person. It is far greater to give food and drinks to a destitute than giving food and drinks to a middle class person. So because destitute, they really need food and good drinks, otherwise they cannot survive. They can lose their own dear life. So to help them and to save them and rescue them from losing their own dear life, losing their precious human life, is much more beneficial than helping or giving food and drinks to a middle class person or a person who can afford to have food and drinks, because they are not in danger of losing their own lives because of hunger and thirst. So therefore, destitute are the most excellent among all the inferiors. So it means we should emphasize more on them. If we want to help others, then we should help these people who really needs our help, who really needs our service. And then Chaitanya Baba said, those who are sick person are the most excellent among all the destitute. For example, if there are many destitute, and among them, if someone is sick, then first we need to emphasize to help such person, such a destitute person who has sickness, because such person has a double problem. Not only has the problem of hunger and thirst, or not only has the problem of a poor person, but on top of that, such person has sickness. So they have the double problem. So therefore, helping them is more beneficial. So there are also like merit field on whom if we help, then we can gain great merit. Actually, there are two fields. One is Buddha field, and one is the field of sentient beings. So to attain Buddhahood, we need both the field. Without Buddha, we cannot study, contemplate, and meditate on the teachings. And without that, we cannot gain realizations and cannot gain liberation and enlightenment state, etc. And also, without the sentient beings, without focusing on the sentient beings, without emphasizing on the sentient beings, we cannot practice loving kindness, we cannot practice compassion, we cannot practice the genuine refuge or genuine bodhicitta, or the practice of generosity, practice of patience, etc. So to practice all these, we must have the object, who are the sentient beings, who are the limitless sentient beings. So without them, without emphasizing on them, we cannot practice the proper refuge, because to do a proper practice of refuge, not only we need the Buddha and Dharma and Sangha as an object of our refuge, but also we need all the sentient beings as to whom we are going to take refuge. For the sake of all the beings we are going to take refuge. If we don't have the right purpose, which is to help out for the sake of all the sentient beings, if we don't have such kind of purpose, then we cannot have the genuine practice of refuge. So therefore, to practice Dharma in general, we need both the field of Buddha and the field of sentient beings. So here we are talking about a particular field of sentient beings, which is the sick person among all the destitute. And then among all the spouse or among all the partners, the most excellent one is the one who follows, one who obeys each other. I think one can say, if one obeys each other, if one respects each other, then that is a good partner. Actually, in the teaching, directly it says about the spouses, but I think it can mean the both way, vice versa. So good partner means one who follows, one who obeys. And the child who will succeed one's own lineage, the child who holds the lineage, are the one that is the excellent among all the child. And the one who does not deceive others are the most excellent among all the relatives and all the surrounding persons. So it is important to be a good person, and to be a good person, we need to be a sincere person, we need to be an honest person, and we should not deceive others. If we deceive others, then they will not trust on us, they will not rely on us, they will not believe on us. And when there's no trust, when there's no belief, then it is difficult. So therefore, to strengthen our relationship, to make our relationship or connection more stronger, then we should not deceive. The person who never deceive are the excellence among all the relatives and surrounding persons. if there is a relative or surrounding person that deceive, then such person is not a good person, because one who deceive are regarded as a bad person. A very deceptive person cannot regard as a good person. And then Chögyam Phaba said, the one who really benefits sincerely are the most excellent among all the friends. If there is a friend who regard as a friend, but when we really need help, when we are really in a big trouble, when we are really facing a big challenge, and at that time, if our friend ignores us, then such friend is not a genuine friend. So genuine friend or the real friend means who will never ignore us, whether we are in a good situation or in a bad situation. Whatever situation that we may face, the friends are always there to help, to guide, to share our thoughts. Such friend is a good friend. So if there's a friend that ignores us when we are in a trouble, when we are facing a big problem, then it is not right. So the one who really benefit us, especially when we are in a very difficult situation, then that friend is the most excellent among all the friends. Actually, all these teachings that Chögyam Phaba is giving to the Prince Chepi Temur of the Yuan dynasty, all these can apply in our own life. We should apply in our own life. We should think that Chögyam Phaba is really giving such advice, such valuable advice and suggestion, not only to Chepi Temur but to oneself. If we think Chögyam Phaba is really giving such teaching to oneself, then we should think that we are in such position and we should do according to Chögyam Phaba's advice. We should follow his precious and profound advice. And if we follow such advice, then we will become a good person. Not only we can make happiness for ourselves, but also we can help others, we can make others happy. So if we really follow such advice, and if we really act according to the advice in our daily life, then we can be the source of happiness for oneself and others. So through this way, we can make oneself happy, and also we can make others to be in a good position, or we can make others happy. So therefore, we should apply all this advice in our daily life. If we just listen and if we don't try to apply into our daily life, then we cannot receive the real benefit of following such precious and profound teaching or advice. So we must apply, we must follow, we must practice, we must act according to these precious advices. And then the one who obeys are the most excellent among all the attendants. So if the attendants or the assistant, if they are trustworthy, if they are attentive, and if they always obey, then they are sincere person, they are honest person. And if one has a very deceptive attendant or assistant, then that kind of assistant or attendant can have strong effect on us, can make or can cause us big problems. For example, in the business world, if one has a bad assistant, then that kind of assistant can cause the boss or the owner of the company to lose so much wealth or money. So it is important to have attendant or assistant that are sincere and that really follows the order of the owner or the boss. So in short, the one who really obeys are the most excellent, the one most excellent among all the attendants or assistants. So it is important to have a good assistant, a reliable assistant, a sincere assistant or attendant. And then next advice is the one who repays your kindness is the most excellent among those whom you have benefited. So one has benefited many beings, and after benefiting them, if some of them just ignore us, then it means they are not a good person. But if someone who are very thankful and who really repay one's own kindness, then these person are good person, honest person. So we have to be a good person all the time. And also the next advice is one may have or you may have harmed others, but if these person still remain impatient, so the one who remain impatient or the one who practice the patience are the most excellent among those person to whom one has harmed. If one harmed others, but among these victims, if some of them practice the patience, then they are the most excellent among these persons. So it shows the importance of the practice of tolerance, the practice of patience. And then next, generally among all the person, one who are travelers, one who are guests are the excellent among all the people, because these travelers, they don't have house to stay in a new town or in a new village, because in such village they don't know anybody, they don't have any shelter. So if we can help them, then that is excellent. So among all the people, the travelers are the excellent, or it means they are the most needed person, or they need the help the most. Ancient time travelers are more difficult than present travelers. At the moment, nowadays the travelers, they can book the hotels through online, etc. So there are many ways to find the rooms and other things. But in ancient time, there's no online, there's no hotels, so the travelers are looked after by the people of that particular place. So helping these travelers are excellent among others or among the people. So if we help them, if we benefit them, then such action of helping is the act of decent person, and also through this one can gain merits continuously. So Chögyam Phaba said to the prince should know all these advice that Chögyam Phaba gave to him. And the first part of this subject, like the elders or the seniors among all the fellow beings, etc., for them, for such person, one should respect and one should venerate. And then, like inferior persons or the destitute among the inferior, etc., for them one should look after, one should take care, one should serve them, one should help them. And Chögyam Phaba said, if the prince yourself act according to this advice, then others who are surrounding yourself, like your family members and your ministers and your people, will also follow your action, your behavior, your activities. So through this way, Chögyam Phaba's teaching is not only benefiting the prince, but also making the surrounding persons as a good person, as a decent person. So it helps all of them, and it inspires them and helps them. It inspires them, and if they follow the prince activities or actions, then they also become a good person. And now Chögyam Phaba is talking about the benefit of taking care of others. It says, like, those who are doing fishing, those who are butchers, and those who are harming other human beings or sentient beings in one way or another, and torturing them, they are doing harmful actions. And by doing such harmful actions, then they will not gain happiness in this life. And also, they won't be able to gain higher rebirth or liberation for themselves. Then there's no need to mention that they cannot help others. Harmful action will not help others, because harmful action is the direct opposite of helping others, direct opposite of benefiting others. So these two will not remain in the same nature or as a one identity. So those who are doing harmful actions will not gain happiness, because they are doing negative. By doing negative, if one wishes to gain positive result, then it is not right. For example, by painting black color on the wall, and after that, if one expect to have a white wall, white color wall, then that is not possible. So whatever one paint, after that one can see that particular color. By painting black, so after painting, one will see black color on the wall and not other color that is not painted. One can only see the color that is painted on that particular wall. So by doing negative, if we wish to have a positive result, then it is not possible. It is not right. By planting apple, and later if one wish to gain, or if one wish to have mango or oranges from this apple tree, then it is not possible. Apple tree will only grow apple. It won't grow oranges. It won't grow mangoes. It can only grow apples. So whatever you do, the result will be similar to the cause. So if we do negative, then the result will be a negative. If we do positive, then the result will be positive. If you plant an apple tree, then one can have apple later. So whatever you plant, you will get that particular fruit, or if one plant vegetable, then you can get that particular vegetable, etc. So by doing negative actions such as fishing or slaughtering animals or torturing them in one way or another, so by doing such and such harmful actions, and after that if one wishes to gain happiness, then it is not right at all. So therefore, one should abandon all these kinds of harmful action. And one should put all the efforts to benefit others. So generally in Buddhism, there are Saravaka Buddhas, Pratyeka Buddhas, and complete Buddha. So these Buddhas, these three kinds of Buddhas, when they are on the path, at that time they have different practices. The one who has the most excellent action, or the one who has the most altruistic practice, is the one who will gain the complete Buddha, or one who will attain the complete Buddhahood. And also, so it means what kind of result that we will gain is entirely based on the extent of their activities, their altruistic activities. And also, if one is leading the family, then one is the leader of the family. And if one is leading a town, then you are the leader of the town. And if you are helping so many people, then you are the and also looking after all these areas, then you are the leader of all these areas, all these different villages or different towns. So you are the king. So the more you look after, the more greater result that you will gain. So therefore, it means mentally we can extend our altruistic thought to all the sentient beings, because there's no barrier, there's no demarcations, there's no limit. So I think it means mentally we should extend our loving kindness and compassion, or our altruistic thoughts, to all the sentient beings without any limits, without any barriers, without any demarcation. So if we can extend to all, then we can have the greatest result, because we are helping, we are benefiting, mentally we are benefiting the limitless sentient beings. So because of such action, we can also gain the highest result, the greatest result, the result that has the limitless qualities. So anyway, here whether it's inferior or mediocre or the excellent depends on our action. So one should help, especially practically speaking, Shengjang Papa was giving advice to the Prince Chief Demo to look after all his people without any discrimination and exception. So therefore, if you extend your love, your loving kindness and compassion to all your people, then there's no need to mention that you need to love your own ministers, your own bodyguards, and your own people. Not only that, even all the animals, So you should extend your love, your practice of loving kindness and compassion to all the beings, not only all the human beings that are your own people, but also the animals that are in your kingdom or in your area. So you should love all of them because they are relying on you. They are kind of dependent. So if one deceives them, then it is not right. Those who are wholeheartedly relying on you and in response, if you are deceiving them, then it means you are not a good person, you are a bad person. So therefore, as they are relying on you, you should also look after them, take care of them, help them without any discrimination or without any wrong motivation. So I think for this session, I will conclude here. And actually, in generally speaking, whatever teaching that one receive or one practice, one should always do, or one should always develop the right motivation in the beginning and the right dedication at the end. And as I said in my first session teaching, my English is very limited, and I use these terms by myself, so please check whether they are the right words to use in these different contexts. So please check and examine. Thank you.